Good morning, everybody, or whenever you're watching this. I haven't posted a video in a while, and I was Bible studying this Psalm 22 today, and I thought it would be perfect to go in my playlist of songs for difficult times. So this is Psalm 22, From Suffering to Praise. My God, why have you abandoned me? Why are you so far from my deliverance and from my words of groaning? So here my commentary was saying David knew what it was like to feel the presence of the Lord, which made the absence of his help even more devastating. Okay, and we'll go on. My God, I cry by day, but you do not answer. By night, yet I have no rest. And then, but you are holy, enthroned on the praises of Israel. So my commentary was saying the forsaken one remembered God and his greatness even when immersed in suffering. His present agony did not change God's holiness. So we'll go on. Our ancestors trusted in you. They trusted and you rescued them. They cried to you and were set free. They trusted in you and were not disgraced. But I am a worm and not a man. So I did find this part interesting, him calling himself a worm. And the commentaries were saying David felt as insignificant as a worm who God seemed to give no help to. Okay. Scorned by mankind and despised by people. Everyone who sees me mocks me. They sneer and shake their heads. He relies on the Lord. Let him save him. Let the Lord rescue him, since he takes pleasure in him. So I didn't write this down because I didn't have a lot of space, but I believe the commentary was saying in their mocking him, it was kind of like Job's friends mocking him. You know, they're saying, well, if he relies on the Lord and he's, so righteous, and the Lord takes pleasure in him, let the Lord rescue him. And it's kind of like Job's friends were saying, if you were all of this, you wouldn't be going through this, or you would be set free of this. So that was interesting. All right, we'll go on. It was you who brought me out of the womb, making me secure at my mother's breast. I was given over to you at birth. You have been my God from my mother's womb. So the commentary again for these two verses was saying, David was basically saying, you brought me into this world, and you've given me, secure food. You've given me life. Why would you do all that to now kind of abandon me? That's what the commentary was saying David was meaning. Okay, we'll go on. Don't be far from me, because distress is near and there's no one to help. Okay, Okay. Many bulls surround me. This isn't really sitting flat. There we go. Many bulls surround me. Strong ones of Bashan encircle me. I don't know if I pronounced Bashan right. If I didn't, I apologize. So here in this verse, when he's saying many bulls surround me, he's talking about the people tormenting him. They open their mouths against me, lions mauling and roaring. I am poured out like water, and all my bones are disjointed. My heart is like wax melting within me. So here the commentaries were saying, when he says, I am poured out like water, he felt empty. Whatever strength he had was poured out like water. That's kind of obvious, but I wanted to write that down anyways. My strength is dried up like baked clay. My tongue sticks to the roof of my mouth. You put me into the dust of death. For dogs have surrounded me. A gang of evildoers has closed in on me. They pierced my hands and my feet. So my commentary here was saying perhaps David was referring to wounds he received in struggling against his enemies, or this was prophetic and he was describing wounds his greater son would bear by crucifixion. This was hundreds of years before the Romans adopted the practice of crucifixion. So this could very well be, a prophecy he's saying here. I can count all my bones. People look and stare at me. So here, again, the commentaries were pointing towards a prophecy. It says, David examined his wounds and had no broken bones. The son of David, Jesus, also suffered no broken bones despite his suffering on the cross. And that's a cross reference to John 19:31 through 37. That tells of Jesus's bones not being broken, because that was a common practice to break their bones. It was a common practice to break their bones. I can't remember if they did it before or after he got put on the cross, but it was a common practice. And after Jesus had died already, his bones were not broken, and they felt no need to break them because he had passed away already. They divided my garments among themselves, and they cast lots for my clothing. But you, Lord, don't be far away. My strength, come quickly to help me. So, where does this one come? Okay. David seemed to believe he could endure anything if he enjoyed the conscious presence of God. So it wasn't so much, praying, please take this away from me. It was praying, please don't be far away from me, because the Lord is his strength and he can get through anything as long as the Lord is with him. Rescue my life from the sword, my only life from the power of these dogs. Save me from the lion's mouth, from the horns of wild oxen. You answered me. I will proclaim your name to my brothers and sisters. I will praise you in the assembly. So here, my commentaries were saying David has a glorious sense that God has answered him. The crisis became bearable in the knowledge that God is not removed from his suffering, nor silent in it. Okay. You who fear the Lord, praise him. All you descendants of Jacob, honor him. All you descendants of Israel, revere him. For he has not despised or abhorred the torment of the oppressed. He did not hide his face from him, but listened when he cried to him for help. So the commentary was saying for verse 24, God has used and would use that affliction to good and great purpose. So it also kind of had this as a prophecy towards Jesus too. That's what the commentaries were saying. You'll go through hard times, but God's going to use it for a good and great purpose. Okay, I will give praise in the great assembly because of you. I will fulfill my vows before those who fear you. The humble will eat and be satisfied. Those who seek the Lord will praise him. May your hearts live forever. All the ends of the earth will remember and turn to the Lord. All the families of the nations will bow down before you, for kingship belongs to the Lord. He rules the nations. All who prosper on earth will eat and bow down. All those who go down to the dust will kneel before him, even the one who cannot preserve his life. Their descendants will serve him. The next generation will be told about the Lord. They will come and declare his righteousness to a people yet to be born. They will declare what he has done. So I think, that was the end of that psalm. So I really liked this psalm for a couple of reasons. And the name kind of says it all, from suffering to praise. He goes on, and a good portion of this kind of talking about his suffering and what he's going through and how he feels he's being ignored. He feels as insignificant as a worm. And then it turns to later in the verse, you answered me, and he's giving praise to the Lord. So this is what I like about the Psalms. David usually starts out kind of negative, kind of upset, he's suffering, but he always ends it on a positive note. And that's why I think I'm loving Bible studying these Psalms, because with my anxiety and depression and with looking for a job right now, it's easy to feel like David and feel like I'm suffering. So that's why I like these Psalms. And I like this one especially because it kind of gives some insight, into later on with David's son, which is Jesus. So yeah, I really enjoyed Bible studying this Psalm. If I got anything wrong, I'm sorry, let me know. Again, I am no expert. I'm looking at commentaries to try to understand the Bible more. I'm not doing this on my own. So if anything's wrong, please let me know nicely. And yeah, I want to do a video. I don't know how I would do this video, but I want to do a video on how to realistically surrender everything to God. Because I heard someone's testimony about how they were broke and struggling, and they were just at their ends, financially, and they just felt like they couldn't go forward. And one night they just surrendered it all to Jesus, and the next day there was some kind of financial breakthrough, and then 4 months later they booked a job, and I was sitting there listening to that testimony and like, okay, yeah, I'm just gonna surrender it all to Jesus as well. Like, I'm going to surrender all my worries about finding my job, all my worries about everything in my life. I'm going to surrender it to him. And I got on my knees and I surrendered it all to him one night. And then I just realized, hearing people's testimonies is great, but it can give you kind of a false sense of hope, because they got down on their knees and surrendered everything to the Lord, and the next day something happened for them. So why isn't it happening for you when you do it? So I want to try to research a little further and maybe make a video on how to realistically surrender things to God and how to realistically pray for something. Because, growing up, my dad, he didn't always give me what I wanted and asked for, but he did always give me what I needed. And that's what I'm trying to remember, is that when we are praying, we are asking for something. There's no guarantee that it's right for us and it's going to be given to us. So if you're interested in that video idea, let me know and I'll try to research a little bit more on it, because that's just been heavy on my mind lately. All right, thank you for watching the video. I hope you got something out of it. Have a great rest of your week, and God bless.